Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Office Adda 24/7. My name is Niharika Valia, and I'm dealing with you with the process of management. Today, I'll be starting with the next level, and we'll be talking about the various principles of management. The principles of management were based upon the fact that every organization, see, we talked about science, we talked about profession, they have their theoretical knowledge, right? So if they have their theoretical knowledge, even management has its own theoretical knowledge. What is their theoretical knowledge all about? Number one, the principles of management are based upon a certain the principles of management. What are principles exactly? How do we define principles? It's something that we say that this is my way of living life, right? That would be my principles. This is how I want to live. That is how we define the entire portion of principles in our lives. But in management, even they formed a few principles and they started working according to those principles. So, what are those principles? Let's learn them. Number one, the nature of the principles of management is universal. For example, if I say, if I follow honesty, and honesty is the best policy, so then what will you say? It's a universally applicable scenario. See, then that means every principle can be applied everywhere. Now, number two, it's a general guideline. When we talk about it being a general guideline, it says that the principles of management are not ready-made solutions to any problem. They are not. They are just something where the organization says that you have a general guideline. This is how you can work upon any specific scenario. So that means this is not a defined situation. Then it says it is formed by practice and experimentation. It is based upon the fact that people have to practice and then they keep on experimenting as well. On the basis of this practice and experimentation, they can find out what can be done, right? So, for example, they studied that discipline plays a very important role. If the people are punctual, then it plays a very important role. Order plays a very important role. For example, it's something that happens in every household. Every mother trains their kids and tells them that this is the place you need to keep these things. Why? Why does this thing happen even in the household? Because it is easier to find the school uniforms at the place where you have actually kept it. The tie, the shoes where you actually kept it. So that was something which was inculcated in us when we were kids. Then, as soon as we grew up, order meant something different. Order started meaning that where the files are kept, you replace the files which you had taken. Then, if it is about tools, if you're using specific tools, then the tools are replaced at the same place from where you took it. So these kinds of things, these are formed by practice as well as the experimentation. Next thing that came was it is flexible in nature. Why it won't be flexible? See, the point is that you are dealing with humans, and if you do not become flexible about it, you can't do anything about it. So first thing is it is flexible in nature. Secondly, it is mainly behavioral. Um, if I'm dealing with you, if I'm talking to you, then according to your behavior, I will have to modify mine. That's one of the basic realities of humans that you cannot treat every human same. So even if it's about teaching, the every set of students I change as a person. That means from keeping this area, think about it about a manager. He's dealing with a different set of people. Normally, you will find the managers are multilingual. They learn a lot of languages while dealing with different people. What is the reason? They learn the languages of all the people who are actually working. They at least understand all those languages. So why they have to do that? Because you know you have to deal with humans and you cannot be homogeneous. If you speak English and you do not speak any other language, then you won't be able to deal with them in a better way. You have to learn their ways. You'll have to become like them if you want to influence them to work, because there are two ways of working. One is being rude and getting the work done. Second is you influence them enough that they feel motivated and do the work. So it is mainly behavioral in nature, and then it is cause and effect relationships. Now that is something that happens. There's a cause. That means the organization is working towards, say, if you and I are working, right? So there was a particular major project that came up. With that major project coming up, that was the reason, a very, very strong reason that I had to push you towards overtime. So that means with that particular thing, there was a cause and there was an effect. What happened was discipline was required, but cooperation was also required. I couldn't work in isolation that I'll say, I will work overtime. It depends upon the other people whether they'll work for me overtime or not. Now, that is something that is alarming, I would say. So, it is based upon cause and effect relationship. You see a cause, you find a particular solution, and you see the effect of the same as well. The next is contingent. So, when we define the term contingent, good morning, ma'am. Yes, this is a theory subject. It is advanced business and financial management. It has a few portions of theory and a few portions of theory and a few portions of the practical. So it is ABFM. So the module A is all theory. Then we'll move towards module B. There are a few things which would be definitely practical for you. Okay, so let's continue then. Now, this is the point. Then this is about the significance. We studied about it in, okay, the last point was still left. Last is contingent. What do you mean by the term contingent? We would have studied, okay, this is there. This used to be there in terms of the ABFM. This is basically ABFM now. This was there in terms of accounting for finance and managers, which was there in the JAIIB previous syllabus. This is a term which relates to accountancy, even it's a general term, right? Contingent basically means that you don't know about the applicability. There are certain things which are uncertain. Now the point is that if a particular person is not well, you're dealing with humans again. If we are dealing with humans again, and then if the person is not well, and you tell them that discipline is extremely important, that person will feel disheartened, and at the same time it would affect his performance. His motivation would go down. Think about the other point. In an organization, there are certain people, there is they talk about the fair remuneration. These are various points that we'll be dealing. Fair remuneration. Fair remuneration is basically what? Any person is working with the people. The people are working with the organization, and they realize that the company is not paying them as per their requirement. Then they had a word with the seniors. They said the company's pocket is currently limited. That means the company is paying as per its paying capacity. Now the point is the fair remuneration is being implemented here, but when there is a requirement, they might have to make the changes as well. They might have to move towards equity. That means the people who are working together, sometimes we might have to look forward to them in an equal manner. We cannot say, see, if there are a few people who are badly or in dire need of money, we cannot tell them as per fair remuneration, we will pay you only as per our pocket. Sometimes even the organization extends its pocket because they need human resources. This was a particular saying of Mr. Narayan Murthy, who was the former he was actually the founder. He's actually still there. He is the founder of Infosys. So when we talk about him, he says that okay, every evening the asset walks out of your organization. You need to make sure that they come back in the morning. What is it about? Ideally, in an organization, this doesn't happen. All the assets stay in the organization, people come, work, and go. But people itself is an asset, which is an extremely important asset for the organization. Think about it. The trained people are your assets. You do not get the trained people every now and then. You train them, you get them work, and then you get the work out of them. That is contingent in nature. You don't know where you have to stop. Mainly behavioral again, but what part of which particular principle can be applied there? That is contingent in nature. Thinking about the fact that the external environment changes as well as the internal environment of the organization also changes. So this is where it can also affect the working, right? That is natures of principles of management. Then with this, let's talk about what is the importance of the significance of the that is significance of management, or the importance of it. Number one, it provides the managers useful insights into reality. Now that's the first point. It says, see, if we are applying the various rules, for example, the organization followed, there are something called authority and responsibility. Authority is all about the fact that there's a particular saying that was there in Spider-Man. It was said to by Uncle Ben, that was, with great power comes great responsibility. If you give power to someone and you do not give them the responsibility of all the repercussions that can happen with their usage of power, then they will exploit their power. That's one of the realities of the world. So that is something that happens in the organization even. Think about it. What happened with Adolf Hitler? He used his power to that extent that the entire country faced it. Right? So after his death, they had never been working towards, they had never been so religious towards any of their leaders, because they realized their mistake, that you cannot do this. The authority shall always have a strong responsibility. If you go through the history of Germany, you'll find they lost a specific war because during they were in the winning situation, but at that point of time, Adolf Hitler was sleeping, and they couldn't even wake him up to take the orders from him. Now, this is where authority is beyond responsibility and accountability. So, that is something which can create a trouble. So, every time the managers find someone exploiting, or the manager is exploiting people itself, it gives the useful insights into reality, that people might leave or he might leave the organization, leaving a scar on the organization, because ultimately, every time a human resource, especially a trained one, leaves, so it is not good for the organization. Next, optimum utilization of the resources and effective administration. Now the point is, when you know about your resources, you have been given the power, but you are also accountable and responsible for the same, then what will happen? All the resources would be used properly, and the administration will automatically become good. Then scientific decisions. The decisions are not taken just because we saw them. We had reasons. We had a specific order. We had specific reasons for doing that. That is something that is there in terms of scientific decisions. Then meeting changing environment needs. We keep on looking forward towards the changing environment needs as well. Then fulfilling social responsibility. We fulfill our social responsibility as and when it is required. And then management, training, education, and research. So, in terms of management, see, once we followed the principles, we built up those principles now, automatically we had specific studies for the same, specific books for the same, specific education, research, and all. These all built up because we were working towards the management. So basically what has happened is all these principles have given us a beautiful insight towards reality. Beautiful insight because now the managers know what can be done and what cannot be done in terms of their working. Now comes the next portion. I'll be starting with the next point there. This is the first person that we'll be talking about, that is Frederick Winslow Taylor, also known as F.W. Taylor, who is responsible for the principles of management. There are different principles of management that we'll be covering. So I'll be starting with the scientific principles of management. Okay. So this is about the scientific principles of management. It starts with the principles of scientific management. The principles of scientific management were given by F.W. Taylor. He was a completely scientific kind of person. He gave all the principles, but from the point of view of production, from the point of view of productivity, from the point of view of the organization. More or less, one thing that if you'll once we start doing the different authors, you'll realize that his working was more towards humans. You and I, we are not humans, we are rather machines. So it's like if you are told that you are supposed to work from this output to that output. Sure, ma'am. So if we are working from one output to the next output, then we remain and work in the same manner. It doesn't change. Now that is something FW Taylor stated, which is definitely not a sound thing to look forward to, right? So we'll be starting with the Frederick Winslow Taylor's Principles of Scientific Management in the upcoming class, where we'll be talking about the entire portion of the his thought process, what principles he had given. In the next class, I'll be starting with this part. What are the general, these are basically scientific principles. General principles are different. There are five principles of management, which he had given, and many other theories that we'll be dealing with in the upcoming class. So kindly look forward to tomorrow's class, where we'll be covering the principles of FW Taylor, right? Sure, ma'am. Okay. Before we end this particular class, you can look forward for the CAIB examination on our website, where you can look forward to, if you're looking forward towards our classes, there the classes have already started for CIB, and we are just about to start with the JIB batches as well. So what you can do is you can go on to our app Learning Today, Leading Tomorrow, that is under 24/7, and there you'll find the JIB and the CIB batch. In terms of the CIB batch 2023, which is already started, you can look forward to our classes. All the batches are there, and the bilingual batches have already started, and the English medium has also started as well. You can look forward to the English medium batch, where you'll find 145 hours of classes, 45 test series, and 83 test books, and many more things to come. The classes time period has already been stated here. You can look forward to our classes according to your time availability, that this is the time slot that are available. Along with that, the time plan is also uploaded, where you will find all the details of the same. Click on buy now, and you can use the code Y541 to look forward towards our classes, and then you'll get around 80% of discount. This is going on only now, it won't be continued for a longer period. So the it is 4799.20 currently, so you can look forward to it. Validity is for 8 months, and if you're thinking about starting your CIB examination preparation, then I believe you'll get ample of time if you start today, because then revision is easily possible. So check it out on our website or in our app as per your convenience. Thank you and have a nice day.